Well, this next section deals with a series of uh, items that kind of just come up on a pretty regular basis in life. And Carnegie tries to give you some tools to deal with these so that you don't do the standard confrontational issues that we have talked about throughout the whole course so far. For example, dealing with complaints, which basically a complaint is a criticism. Someone is criticizing you or your company or your product. And as we said earlier, the normal reaction is for people, if somebody criticizes me, I want to fight back. I want to prove they're wrong. I tell them they're dumb, or we get into a fight. Well, that's again not the best way to do it. So how do we deal with complaints? We ask questions. Well, why do you feel that way? Could you tell me more? Could you expand on that a little bit? I don't understand. And then listen. Let them know you're really trying to understand. Notice, now they will talk more. And the more they talk, the more this will soften the confrontational element. Because sometimes the fact that they have a complaint is really just they want to get something off their chest. So you want to give them an opportunity to vent a little bit. And then if you release the pressure and let them vent some, at the end, they quite often will just say, well, never mind, or it's not that big a deal. Instead of, again, if you fight back, they fight back. You raise your voice, they raise their voice. So you want to just keep it calm like we've talked about before. Ask questions, clarify. You're trying to see their point of view, and you want them to know that. Sometimes, again, that's all. They want to have someone listen to them. So let them talk. The more they talk, the better. The less you talk, the better. And then again, you're looking for areas of agreement and common ground. The understanding thing. I understand how you feel. I used to feel the same way. But when I had a chance to think about it, and then you give your logical response. But that's always a better approach than what most people do is, what do you mean my product doesn't work? Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. That doesn't solve any problems. Okay, next one. Situation comes up a lot. You need to get cooperation, whether it's with a family member or a coworker or your subordinates, whatever it is. And one of the things is make a suggestion, like you want behavior to change some, you want them to do it a certain way. Now you may have the authority in your business situation to order them to do it. Just do it. Don't ask why, just do it. My way or the highway. And again, you can get compliant. People will do it, but they're not going to be happy about it. Then when you're not supervising them, they'll revert back to the old way. So a better way is to just, why don't we give some thought to doing it this way? Let me make a suggestion. Let's try this. Would you work with me on this a little bit? And okay, sure. They just want to be told it in a nice way. Now, depending on your personality type, this is either easy for you or hard. With my personality style, I have to really work on this because I have a tendency to order people around. Do it this way. I'm in a hurry. I don't have time for all that people skill stuff. I want to just do it. I know the right way to do it. And that's not the way to fame and fortune. So you don't want to do that. So better to just make a suggestion. Why don't you consider doing it this way? Ask what they think. And after you explain your way, what do you think about that? Do you think that would work? And again, they're usually going to try to maintain agreement as well. So if you ask them nicely, they'll try. If you ordered them and then ask them what they think, they're going to be confrontational. So just make suggestions. Get your vocabulary such that it doesn't sound like you're bossing people around. Nobody likes that. Even though you're right, that's not what you want to do. Remember, They have to believe it's their idea. Make sure when we get into an example here where we're changing the way the operation is going to work or the task is going to be accomplished, make sure everybody's expectations are clear. If you do it that way, well, here's what you can expect from me. If you do it this way and it doesn't work, don't worry, you're not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to beat you into the ground because if you just do it, try it my way here. And when it works, I'm going to give you the credit. And if it doesn't, I'm going to take the blame. Is that fair? And then they say, yes, sure. And then let them know what to expect. I want to know what I can expect from them, and they want to know what they can expect from me. And once everybody's got that laid out on the table, then understanding can happen. Prefacing, like one way to present the suggestion thing is, could you do me a favor and try it this way? Most people will not reject that. If you say, could you do me a favor, that's one of those power phrases that is really effective. Because again, it's like reciprocity. People tend to, if you ask them for something, they want to give it to you. It's built into the DNA. It's how you get along. And if I ask, could you do me a favor? In the back of their mind, they're thinking reciprocity too. Oh, great. I love giving you a favor because then you're going to owe me too. And I have one in the bank. And keep in mind, people are keeping score. They are keeping score. So, but it's a very powerful technique. If you want to get a behavioral change or persuade somebody, asking them for a favor to have them try it almost always works. This idea I've mentioned before of letting them feel the idea is there. If you ask them, like, would you consider doing it this way? And you explain all the reasons why. And then you ask what they think and let them say, well, gee, do you think that would work? Well, and they say yes. Well, now the fact they said they think it'll work, that means it's sort of they're going along. It's very quickly in their head after you've done a little of this process. They think the whole idea to make the change is made sense to them because, they came up with the idea. Now, they really didn't, but that's the way psychology works. If you present it the way we've described, by the end of it, they're going to be, that sounds like a pretty good idea. I'm glad I thought of that. Now, it sounds funny and silly, but that's kind of the way it works. And I'm sure you can think of many examples where that has happened in your relationships that you've had. Now, and again, you want to focus on the results. Now, if you've told your subordinate to try this and it works, then at the end, don't focus on the fact, wow, see, I was right all along. Don't screw it up. You've done a good job up to this point. You got them to change their behavior and you got a good result, just like you knew you would. And it did work just like you said. At the end, don't focus on, see, I was right, you were wrong. Aren't you glad you did it my way? No. Then you blow the whole thing that you've just done. So focus on the result. That's great. I'm so glad you got the result. It's working better for you now, isn't it? And yes, it works great. That's what you're trying for. Shut up. You are ahead of the game. Don't blow it. So, and going back to probably the very first module, some of this stuff is a little repetition in here, but always understand that no matter what stupid thing someone did, they have a reason. Remember the earlier examples, the criminals all think they're put upon and being picked on, and they really have the best of intentions. Try and have empathy. Understand that they think they're doing whatever way they're doing it for their reason. They do have a reason. and try and have empathy. Now, how would I feel if I were in their position? How would I react if I were them? Instead of just looking at everything from your point of view, try to see the other person's point of view. So now, starting with a compliment, you're probably going to end up trying to change them here, but start with a compliment. Gee, find something that they're doing right. Wow, you're really working really hard at this. Looks like you're really putting in the effort. Now, it's not getting the result you want, but start with, instead of saying, hey, you're not getting the result you want, start with saying they're doing something right. Remember, compliment behavior. Gee, you seem to be spending a lot of time on that, or working really hard on that. And then, so you're softening them up there before you get to the main part. Now, as you get to the main part there, let them know that, again, you're not ordering them to do stuff. You're going to use all the techniques we've been going through. You're asking them questions. You're listening to them. Let them know their ideas are important. And you're evaluating their input. And give them reasons why they should want to do it. If you do it this way and you make more sales, you're going to make more money. So maybe we should try it that way. What do you think? And you know what? They want to make more money. Or if you do it this way, it'll get done faster and you could go home early from work today. Ooh, they would like to go home early from work today. And now they're much more open if they understand what the benefit is to them, not just you. A lot of times you're focused on your benefit. You want the job done faster and this and that. And they're trying to figure out what's in it for them. Remember, what's in it for them is a standard thing in marketing. That all marketing, the first thing anytime somebody sees a headline or an advertisement, their first thought is, so what? What's in it for me? And employees are the same way. Children are the same way. Your spouse is the same way. But it all comes back to trying to see their point of view. They want to feel they are understood. Everybody wants the same things. Everybody wants sympathy on some level. They want you to feel that they are important and they have it tough. It just is psychology. Almost everybody wants you to feel sorry for them on some level. And you know what? If they want it, what does it hurt to give it to them a little bit? If the dog is hungry, remember we talked about the ego. If the dog is hungry, feed it. Don't say, well, you shouldn't be hungry. The dog's hungry. Give him some food. And here's where, and again, this was one of those opening phrases. I don't blame you one bit for feeling as you do. If I were you, I'd probably feel exactly the same way. That is such a powerful phrase. It can be used in so many situations that will get you out of trouble and get people on your side. And they are going to like you. That's one you should walk around with on a 3x5 card and rehearse and be as an exercise. Remember, in this course, we said you need to practice these things. This isn't going to work if all you do is listen to my series here of modules, and at the end you say, oh, that was cool. You're not going to get a result. You have to do these. You got to implement them, or else it's not going to work. If you remember, my opening introduction material talks about how to get the most out of the course, and one of the one of those things is you got to use the material we're offering to you. Okay, see you on the next module. Whoop, I guess not. We're already back. Last one here. Everybody likes themselves. This is kind of variation of what we just did. They have reasons for doing it, and there's always two reasons. There's what sounds good to the outside world, and that's what they tell people, but the real reason is, ooh, this. Gee, I have a luxury car. And if you ask them, well, why'd you buy the Lincoln or why'd you buy the Corvette? Yeah, I once upon a time had a Corvette. And if you would ask me why I wanted the Corvette, why'd you buy that? Oh, I'm going to give you logical reasons. Oh, it's a very well-made car and it's safe and this. I'll probably even be dumb and tell you it gets good gas mileage, which it doesn't. I give you all those reasons. Oh, it maintains its trade-in value. The real reason is I'm going to look really good in it, and people are going to think I'm successful. It'll make me proud. They'll be envious of me. I might have all kinds of internal reasons that actually don't make me out to look like a really nice person, but they're human reaction. It's the way people are. Ooh, I'm going to love driving that over to my brother's house and driving in the driveway and look here, I made it. Gee, that's a kind of a tacky reason. Yeah, but people have those reasons, but they don't verbalize them. And keep that in mind if you're doing a sales situation where people give you objections and things. Lots of times they're not giving you a real objection. They're just giving you what sounds good. Their real reason is they can't afford it because they're financially unsuccessful. Well, gee, why aren't you buying this model of the car? And they're going to tell you something about gas mileage or color. And so as a salesperson, you have to be really careful not to necessarily suck into what they just told you. But the real reason is money. And so if you understood that, you could say, oh, by the way, did you know we have a payment plan and we can make this very affordable for you? Well, wow, if you knew that, you could have used that right off the bat. So be conscious not to necessarily believe everything people are going to tell you. And then the final thing is try to appeal to their better self. This is a pre-framing technique where get them to sort of take the big picture and look at, wouldn't they like to sort of save the world here? Wouldn't they like to get a certain result that'll help a lot more people? And if you can get them to agree to that, then what comes next in the sort of the how-to, they're going to be much more responsive to. So see you in the next module.